From SF Land, this is Dorking Out, a podcast for people who love to dork out about movies, TV, and everything pop culture.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is Sonia Mansfield, and I don't drink anymore, and I don't drink any less either. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. Let me just get out of this toll booth. Here we go. That's more comfortable.
Fine. Yeah, just put your feet up. This week, we are dorking out about 1995's While You Were Sleeping, starring Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman and Peter Gallagher, Peter Boyle. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right, so I'm going to assume I pronounce it wrong. Glynis Johns.
Glynis Johns.
Allie Walker, your lady Allie Walker. And Jack,
my girl,
and Jack Warden. And I picked this movie because it's like so obviously a holiday movie, but not really a holiday movie. It's like set during the holiday time, but it's not about Christmas or New Year's, but all those things are happening. And then I realized, oh, this is our last episode of the decade too. So this movie doesn't really tie into that, but oh well.
Well, we had a couple of tepid, movies that we covered recently that we both didn't really love.
Yeah.
So we thought it would be a good idea to cover something we both totally love. I mean, spoiler alert, I super love this movie.
I super love this movie. I loved it when I saw it. I was one of the many, many, many people like in this country that fell in love with Sandra Bullock in Speed, which had come out the year before. And then this movie comes out like the next year, and it just made her like a huge star. And she's, everybody drink, adorable in this movie. She's like the cutest thing ever.
And she's in these gigantic coats. Did you notice this?
Yes.
These coats swallow her body. She's literally covered down to her ankles with coats.
Yes.
And layers. Because she's in Chicago in December, which makes sense. But she still looks cute.
She looks so cute.
There's one scene where she's wearing a cable knit sweater and sweatpants.
Yeah.
And her hair is up. And she's got like a scrunchie or the clip thing on the top of her head. And I'm like, oh my God, she's beautiful.
Yep.
It's not fair.
Yeah, she's wearing a sweater so big, she literally hides a Christmas present in the sleeve. It's so,
yes.
She's so cute in it. She's stupid cute. And she's obviously some sort of fucking witch or some shit because she still looks beautiful. It's like 25 years later.
My friend's son went to school with her son, Louis, and got to hang out with Sandra and said she is insanely beautiful. And her boyfriend, is super hot.
This does not surprise me. And she deserves it.
Yep.
I am convinced she is a good person. I've never heard a bad thing about Sandra Bullock.
Likewise, never heard a bad thing.
And that makes me happy. Did you see this movie in the theater?
I certainly did. And I couldn't wait because I was like you. I've loved all of her movies up to that point. I still love her movies. And I like Bill Pullman. I like all the people that are in this. And I was completely surprised. I mean, I watched it last night on Disney Plus. Where it's streaming for free. Yep. Where it's streaming. I watched it last night. I have to tell you, I haven't seen it in a good 10 years maybe.
Yes.
It's been a while. I was sobbing my eyes out by the end.
I know.
I cried and cried. Because I loved it so much.
I still love it. It's probably been 10 years since I've seen it too. And I remember seeing this in the theater. I believe I was actually going through like a breakup at the time. And and the movie just kind of, I don't know, it made me feel hopeful and it like restored my faith in humanity a little bit. It's very strange. This movie came out in April, but it still feels like a holiday movie to me. So I don't know. I was kind of surprised that it came out in April, but Bill Pullman is so charming in this movie.
Yes.
I'm like, can we and they have such awesome chemistry. Like you really feel like they're falling in love.
Absolutely.
I would
like Peter Gallagher. It looks good. He's so dumb.
He's got the most amazing eyebrows.
Oh, he looks great. I mean, this is at his peak handsome.
Yes.
I mean, everybody's just so good in this movie. I can't stand it.
I would like another romantic comedy with Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman. I think they could do one right now, and I would pay money to see it.
People would pay money.
They're so great. I love their relationship so much, and they just have such great chemistry. And then they could do like a spin-off movie with just Peter Gallagher's eyebrows, and I would pay money to see it. He is really dumb in this movie.
He's so handsome. We'll tell the basic plot is Sandra Bullock is an orphan. Her parents are both gone.
Yes.
And she had to give up her money for college to take care of her dad, and then he passed away, and her mother passed away when she was young. And so she's working at a toll booth in Chicago, which, they're never quite sure how she wound up there. But she just sits behind and she sees Peter Gallagher every day at like 8:15 or something.
Yes.
And she notices him and she has a crush on him, and she kind of has this fantasy life where they're dating.
Yes.
And she often says, like, I love you as he's walking away. And he's oblivious. He's the most oblivious person. But he gets mugged by the tracks one day close to the holidays, and he falls on the tracks, and she saves him. And when he comes to, she goes to visit him in the hospital to make sure he's okay. And she somehow says, I was going to marry him, because that was just her wish.
Yeah.
And the nurse overhears it, and the nurse like, oh, that's his fiance. So when his family shows up, they knew Peter was dating somebody.
Yes.
So they just were like, oh, this must be her. And she goes along with it because she doesn't want to be weird, because the guy's in a coma. And
Grandma has a heart condition, and she doesn't want to
Right.
upset her.
Yeah, and it seems to give them hope to like meet her, because she plays a character named Lucy, and Lucy is just adorable. Everybody drink. And just a sweet, kind person, and they're all super psyched. Like, ooh, he's engaged to her. She's awesome, and they want to get to know her better. And so she gets to know them. This is what I love about this particular movie. I mean, I don't love all romantic comedies because they're just so hackneyed.
Yes.
And it's so formulaic. This one, I really feel like everyone is getting to know each other and falling in love with each other. And that's what you need to do.
Yeah, that was in my notes. Like, this is one of those romantic comedies where not only does she fall in love with, spoiler, Bill Pullman, because who wouldn't? He's so handsome in this movie. But she really does fall in love with the family too, and they all get to know each other, and you can feel like that connection, and you want that for them, for all of them. And there's no real villain in this movie. They're all, the situation is, I guess, the quote unquote villain or whatever. Like, her secret would be the villain, but there's no villain. Like, Peter Gallagher's character is vapid, and or as Jack Warden says, he's a putz. But
he's a putz.
He's not an asshole. He's not like a monster.
No.
He's a putz, and he actually does have another fiance, and that's your girl Allie Walker. But she's not. She's portrayed as someone who's kind of a bitch, but I don't know if she really is. Like, he proposed to her, and she hasn't heard from him.
Well, he proposed to her, and she said no, and then she moved to Portugal, but then they were talking back and forth because he was trying to convince her to come back.
Right.
But then didn't you find out in the end that she's married? Like, she shows up with her husband. It's a bizarre scenario, but she's very funny in it. I mean, she only has a few scenes, but and it's so funny because they're making like, oh, I bought her those boobs and this. I'm like, she's thin as anything. I mean, she's gorgeous and looks great. Everybody looks great.
Yes.
It makes you want to go to Chicago, doesn't it? I mean, I want to just visit this. Yeah. I want to go there and hang out.
Yeah.
But what happens is that she starts to get to know the family, and she even gets invited to and she gets a Christmas present, and you could tell she's totally forgot to mention. So she lives in an apartment building and the super has a crush on her, and he's played by Michael Rispoli. His name's Joe Jr.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always hitting on her, and she's always having to avoid him. And then she comes one day, she has to hide him in the closet at one point because Bill Pullman's dropping by, and he's trying on her shoes, and that's his big secret.
That made me laugh so hard. I had forgotten about that part where she pushes him in the closet, and then she opens it up, and he's putting on her shoes, and he's all, I slipped, and my foot fell into your shoe.
It's just so silly.
It's such a weird thing though, because he's like this really kind of like,
Macho.
yeah, macho, but also like a New York Italian kind of stereotype, but they're in
Right.
Chicago. It's very, very strange. But even his character doesn't play out the way you think it's going to play out. Like, he's not a jerk either. He's just kind of dumb, and he likes her. He
Yeah.
just doesn't know
He
how to
truly
deal
likes
with
her.
it.
Yeah, and she doesn't like him back, but she likes him as a friend, and they stay friends. And it's funny because Bill Pullman figures out pretty quickly that there's no way Peter is engaged to this girl because she's way too normal.
Yeah.
She's way too, you know what I mean? Like, because his brother just likes flashier women, and so he suspects, I don't know what he actually suspects her of.
Yeah.
That at first he treats her sort of like an adversary, but then they gradually fall. There's a great scene where he walks her home.
Mm-hmm.
And there's ice on the ground, to her apartment, and they're slipping all over the place. And it's so cute. They're just totally
it's so cute.
falling into each other's arms, basically.
I love that. I love that scene. Have you ever had like a massive crush on someone you've never talked to, and you like create the story in your head like she does with Peter?
I've been doing that since I was like 9, and I still do it. So if that's wrong, I don't want to be right.
I have most definitely done that stuff. And there's also the idea of love at first sight in this movie. Do you believe in love at first sight?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know if I believe in love at first sight, but I do believe in love when you like first meet someone. Does that count as love at first sight?
I totally think it does.
Okay. Then yes. I believe you can meet someone and instantly have a connection, and I guess that falls under love at first sight. So yeah, sure. I believe in that.
Yeah.
And I think her and Bill Pullman have it. I should refer to him as his character name. Lucy and Jack.
Right.
Have an instant like connection. And I also, there's some like sadness in this movie too, though. Like she really is all alone.
Right. She's very lonely.
Yeah, she's a lonely person. And I think that it deals with it in a really thoughtful way, though. The idea that the holidays are really hard for people who are really, really alone. Kind of like Valentine's Day can be shitty for people who are single. Like, and you feel like, you're just, Valentine's Day just rubs it in my face that I'm single or whatever. The holidays can like kind of feel to some people like you're rubbing it in their face that they're alone. And there's this scene where like her boss that she keeps confiding into says that you're born into a family and that you don't get to just join them like the Marines, which is a funny line. But I disagree. I think you can have a chosen...
He's totally wrong.
He's wrong. You can have a chosen family and you could be adopted by people. And I think it's more common now than it used to be, like the idea of the chosen family. And I mean, his idea is horribly wrong anyway, because you marry into families all the time.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like, and that's what I like about this movie is like when you marry a person, you also marry their family.
Yeah.
And quite often that's multiple people that you're going to be with on the holidays and have to deal with. And yeah, so you want to like them. You want to have a good relationship with them. And she's like, they're all amazing, including, by the way, Jack Warden, as Saul. I love him. He figures out right away that Sandra Bullock isn't what she says, but he likes her so much for the family. He's just like, keep it between us. Don't tell anybody.
He's
he's in.
He's the one that calls Peter a putz. And I was like, he is not wrong.
Yeah. And then, so he's the one so Peter eventually wakes up, and I feel, by the way, I have to say Sandra Bullock's cat, I feel very sorry for, because that's a neglected creature.
Poor thing.
The poor thing. But anyway, so Peter Gallagher, he comes out of the coma, and he's looking around the room. He notices everybody, but he doesn't recognize Sandra Bullock. And they're all like, no, this is your fiance.
Yes.
And then they say, oh, you have amnesia. And he's like, oh, okay. And then Saul calls him a putz and says, she's the best girl you'll ever have. This is and this is Peter having some bit of wisdom, realizes I've been given a second chance at life. Maybe if I date or if I marry a woman that's better than me, I'll become a better person. Mm-hmm. And so he kind of starts to have feelings for Lucy too, but they're not the same thing. I mean, at this point, Bill Pullman's really, really in love with her and she loves him.
Yes. It's so obvious to everybody. I think the little sister notices it
Yeah.
pretty quickly, actually, that Bill Pullman is in love with Sandra Bullock. I do love where Peter wakes up and they're like, "You have amnesia," and then, like, a nurse brings in Jello, and he's like, "Do I like Jello?" Like, he doesn't even know. And then later they show him, he's reciting like a million things. Like, here's my high school locker combination. Here's my social security. Like, he can remember like the smallest detail about his life, but he can't remember Lucy. And people are still like, "No, you're wrong." Like,
No, because they like Lucy.
because
Yes.
they like her so much that they are just completely unwilling to believe it. And why would you, though? It's a weird thing to happen. Like, if someone says they're engaged to someone, you would probably tend to believe them. So I understand, but I think the scene is really funny. And then there's this really sweet scene where Jack comes to see her at her apartment, and she just asks him, like, "Can you give me any reason not to marry your brother?" And he doesn't say anything.
He's
Just says
scared.
he's too scared. He doesn't want to, I don't know, he doesn't want to be the guy that takes a woman from his brother, I guess. But
Yeah, he thinks it's going to cause a lot of trauma and drama, but his brother will get over it in a second because he is so dumb.
Because he's like a goldfish. He'll totally forget.
Yeah, he's such a dummy, and the family loves her anyway, so they're just totally fine. They just want Lucy, I think, basically.
Yeah, which I totally get. I mean, that's
Yeah.
my family with my husband right now, by the way. They're totally like, whatever about me. They're all about David. They love David.
I have finally met David for the first time, you guys. He is a lovely man.
He is a lovely man.
Really, he's wonderful.
He is.
You guys are a great couple.
Oh, thank you. He's my Lucy, and I'm Peter Gallagher. No, just kidding. I don't have eyebrows like that. I wish I did. I wish I had Peter Gallagher's eyebrows. They're amazing.
They're pretty spectacular.
I know. I can't stop talking about them. Oh my gosh. Am I in love with Peter Gallagher's eyebrows? Maybe.
There has to be a think piece out there about them. There has to be.
While you were sleeping, I stole your eyebrows.
So it's going to be 25 years since that movie came out?
Yes. Isn't that?
Oh my God.
I think this movie's actually aged really well.
No, totally. It totally has.
It's really enjoyable and really fun and really romantic and really funny. Like, I think the family's really funny, but not in a really like obnoxious like movie way. In like a real way that families interact with each other, the way they talk over each other, the way they misunderstand each other is very like a family, like a normal family. And then there's this random scene where like a boy is delivering newspapers and he's like throwing the newspapers and he falls off his bike. I don't know why that shit makes me laugh every time. Do you know what scene I'm talking about?
No,
It's
I'm
just-
totally forgetting it
it's
now.
like
I
a
must
totally,
have, popped to the bathroom or something.
Like Lucy has fallen asleep on their couch and they're showing like it's the next morning and it's like a newspaper boy and they're just trying to show it's the morning and he's like tossing the newspapers and he's on his bike and he slips on the ice and it's like the most random like comedy moment for me in this movie. It makes me laugh every time. That kid probably really hurt himself.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, oh my God, his back, his arm.
I feel like such a dick, but it makes me laugh every time. I don't know
Falling
why.
is very funny.
I just love this movie so much. I was so glad that we picked it.
Yeah, me too. And how much do you love the end when they're going to have the service in the hospital with the chaplain and all the families are there, and then she finally stops and she's like, "I can't marry you," and she looks to the ground and goes, "I love you." And Peter and who was it? Oh damn it, Peter Boyle is like, "You love me?" It's like, well, yes, and I love you, and I love you, and that's just when I start crying.
Yeah,
I start getting a little weepy, and then she leaves because she can't marry him. And she takes off, and then the next day, it's going to be her last day at the job as a toll booth. I guess she's just quitting her job and going to do something else.
I assume that she was quitting and that she was going to travel, but they don't say that.
No.
I don't know where she was going.
Yeah, I don't know how much you make as a toll booth worker. I mean, I bet you have great benefits if you work for the city. I don't know.
I was just going to say, it's a city job. You probably got really great benefits. Why would you quit that job?
Why? You just get to sit all day. It's great.
Oh my God, you sit all day and you could like read books and shit. Oh my God, it sounds
And
awesome.
meet people, meet awesome people. No, so what happens is that she's in the booth, and then all of a sudden and she's looking at the tokens when people had those metal tokens, and that's when a diamond engagement ring shows up, and she looks up, and it's Bill Pullman and the entire family. And they're trying to like coach him through the proposal, get on your knee, get on your knee. That's what she wants you to do.
It's more romantic.
Oh my God, I'm sobbing and laughing at the same time because it's so romantic and wonderful, and I'm so happy for them. It's just, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, you really, really care about them. You want them to be
Yeah.
happy. They're such good people. And I love all the stuff with Joe Jr. too, where like he's gonna date, so he's starting to date someone on the third floor, and apparently she's from like Jersey or whatever too. I was like, what is happening in this movie? Because she's got like the big hair and the accent or whatever. And later Lucy asks him like, how's it going with the woman on the third floor? And he starts crying, and she's like, oh, come here, and like hugs him and like brings him in. And he's like, do you have any cookies? And she's like, come on, we'll try on some of my shoes.
They become friends.
They do.
Yeah, they become real friends. Yeah.
And I think it's really sweet. I just think I keep coming back to it. The movie's just really sweet. There's nobody's bad in it. Everybody's sweet. Everyone has good intentions, I think.
Right.
It's just really enjoyable. And I love watching Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman's characters fall in love with each other as they get to know each other. And they just make each other laugh all the time. Like even just like moving the couch.
Yeah.
Like just stupid stuff like that.
But they're a team.
Yeah. I just love it.
And I think they run his furniture company, the one he wants to create. I think they run that together.
I love
it. That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, they go to Florence, and I love he got her the globe with Florence inside of it. Oh my God. That's when I start to get weepy.
Yeah.
And I just so much love this movie. It's so funny. It's so sweet, and it's so charming. And Sandra Bullock is just like an angel, I love everything. And you guys watch it again. It's on Disney Plus. We're always shilling for Disney Plus, but hey, they're awesome.
Yeah.
But pay attention to the coats. She wears the biggest coats, the longest coats you've ever seen in your life. And she's like a size 0, but she still looks great. It's so not fair.
I've seen this movie before. Like I said, I've seen it before. I saw it maybe 10 years ago when he gives her the globe and she's like, it's Florence. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, give me a reason why I can't marry your brother. And he doesn't do it. Like, I actually said out loud, you're blowing it. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know they're going to get together at the end. And then my husband's like in the other room. He's like, did you say something? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the TV. Like, you're blowing it. I also got all weepy at the church, or not the church scene, the ceremony scene where she's talking about how much she loves the family, and like they're crying and like she's crying, and it's really good. There's also I'm jumping all over the place. There's also a really good scene where Bill Pullman talks about leaning and how leaning is a thing, because she was like hugging Joe Jr. He's all, but you were leaning in or something. And she's like, that's not a thing, whatever. And like Joe Jr. walks up and he's like, is this guy bothering you? It looks like he's leaning in. It just made me laugh so much. You guys, it's like a perfect little movie. You should all be watching it. You should all be watching it. It's a perfect
movie to watch this time of year.
Exactly. Yeah. And it feels all like cozy and warm. I just love it so much. Thank you, Disney Plus.
It's Hollywood Pictures, and they made some really good movies back in the 90s, and it's super fun. It's so enjoyable. You really root for everybody. Like you said, no one's an asshole. There are no creeps here. Everyone's just, maybe Ally Walker, but not really. She's just kind of bitchy, but but she's also dealing with this dum-dum Peter Gallagher. His apartment, by the way, how much do you love that apartment?
Oh my God. I love that he has a framed picture of himself in his apartment.
I know people like that.
I I totally cracked up. I was like, of course he has a framed like model shot of himself. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Like, oh my God,
But he's not a bad person. He's
No.
just kind of vain and dumb.
Yes.
You know, that's all. Yeah.
Exactly. It's really, really good. I'm so glad we rewatched it.
Me too, especially because you didn't like the Santa Claus. I'm glad I got you something you can enjoy. Pick something you can enjoy. So that
Finally.
It's fine, but especially this time of year, like you said, it's a weird week. You're off from work, maybe not. The holidays in the middle of the week. I was telling you this morning, I don't know what day it is right now. I don't know what time it is. I'm taking naps at weird hours. It's like, it's great, but it's really kind of, but you also have just time where you can just kind of lay around and do nothing. And this is like a great movie for that.
Yeah, this time of year, it's like Christmas, then it's like every day feels like Sunday, 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 New Year's Eve, Sunday, 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 back to work. That's how it feels to me because I'm off work right now. It's a little strange. I think you reminded me this morning actually that it's Saturday. So thanks for that. So I wrote down movies of 95, but since it was also our last episode of the decade, I thought maybe we would prefer to hear the top 10 movies of the decade. What do you think?
I think so too, because I was pulling together songs from 95, and I think we've covered a couple of movies from 95 already, so they sounded familiar to me. So I'm totally fine. So I've got the top 10 according to Billboard, the songs. So you go with the movies first.
Okay. These are worldwide grosses, or do we prefer U.S. grosses?
I don't give a shit.
Okay, I don't know if it's...
You pick.
I don't know if it's terribly different, so we'll just go with the one that's right in front of me, which is worldwide. So, number 10 is Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2.
Okay.
Good. I like that one. Number 9,
me too.
Black Panther.
Yep.
Black Panther is dope. Number 8, Avengers Age of Ultron, which I know I saw, but I don't remember anything about it.
Same here.
Sorry, Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 7, Furious 7.
Yep.
Like, sure.
Okay. Sure.
Number 6, The Avengers. I'm like, okay.
Which Avengers?
That's the first one.
Okay.
The first Avengers. Number 5 is The Lion King, and this is that live action one, of course. Not the
Stop it. Really?
Yeah, it made so much money.
Wow. I don't know anybody who saw it.
Yeah, honestly, I think the only person I know who saw it was Adam Risky, and he said it made him so mad that he wanted to punch the poster. He hated it.
Friend of the show, Adam Risky.
Yeah, he's the best. Number 4, Jurassic World, which I didn't see. Did you see?
Yeah, you know what? We saw that after my dad's funeral.
Oh my God.
My mom loved those big, like splashy movies, so we went to see that. It's fun, actually.
Okay, I believe you.
Compared to a funeral, it's great.
Well, that's a pretty low bar, I would say, but they should put that on the DVD box. Compared to a funeral, Jurassic World is a great fun. Number 3, Avengers Infinity War. And I'm like,
didn't like that one.
See, it's all right. It bummed me out a little bit. But number 2, Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Yeah,
I love that one. And then number 1 is Avengers Endgame.
I loved Avengers Endgame.
Yeah. I seriously did. I loved it too. And then just so you know, number 11 is Star Wars The Last Jedi, which
is a great movie.
Is a great movie, and apparently there's this idea that somehow it was like a box office failure or some shit. And I was like, it's number 11 for the fucking decade. I don't think it's a failure. You dum-dums. It made an insane amount of money. It made more money than Frozen. Come on. Frozen was huge.
Yeah.
Now I should try to find what's the the least popular movie of the decade. But that would take some digging.
Would it be Cats?
Oh my God, it's got to be Cats. Did you see Cats?
No, my brother and I almost pulled the trigger
Yeah.
because we were both reading about how insanely bad this movie is.
Yeah.
And that people are like singing at the screenings and stuff just to amuse themselves because it's so painful. But I'm like, I'm not going to pay $20 for that. I mean, I'll wait till it's on streaming. Yeah.
I kind of feel like that's a good one if I want to go out. I haven't done this in a really long time, but I was like, maybe I go out and I tie one on and then I go see it. Like maybe I go to Alamo Draft House and drink like a couple of cocktails. Maybe I'll have a really good time with it.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Alamo because for This movie, one of the writers who's based near Austin went to Alamo Draft House to see this movie, and she was super upset because at Alamo you're not supposed to talk back to the screen, and she said people were laughing and yelling at the screen, and it really bothered her.
Well, yeah,
because it's rude. It's rude. But they're supposedly now Alamo's doing rowdy screenings. They're calling it, so you can be an asshole basically. You can be. Some people are dressing up as cats and doing dances up and down like just to amuse themselves because apparently it's super boring at parts. So
I've seen some things on Twitter where people are like, we stopped by Sephora on the way in and like use their samples to paint whiskers on our face, and then they go and see cats.
It's a happening.
Yeah. Now, when I say I'm going to tie one on and go see Cats, that doesn't mean I would yell at the screen, but I might laugh really loud because I laugh really loud.
I think I'm a loud laugher too. And I think I think I would just do it for that reason because I can't. Yeah.
I have not been to one of the rowdy screenings, but I have seen them because we have a Alamo Draft House here in San Francisco too. They did a rowdy screening for Hustlers with J-Lo. And I thought about going to that, but the timing didn't work out. So I went to the regular screening.
Yeah. I didn't see Hustlers still. I need to see that.
I liked it. I think it's very entertaining, and she's really great in it. So
she's a great actress.
She's really great.
Yeah, she has a lot of charisma. So
there's
she's J-Lo.
There's a scene where she like does some pole dancing, and it is really cool. But that's kind of the part that like everyone's talking about the most. And I was like, she's legit like really great in the movie, more than just the pole dancing scene.
Well, she's a good dancer. I mean, she's a great dancer, excuse me. So, of course, she'd be good at that. I mean, it doesn't.
I think people forget. I'm like, she was a dancer. Wasn't she a fly girl?
She was a fly girl in Living Color,
Yeah, come on. Her and Rosie. Oh, my God. Her and Rosie Perez should do a musical. Oh, my God.
Universe, make it happen.
I was just going to say universe. I'm throwing this out to the universe. Can I get a J-Lo, Rosie Perez musical, please? Thank you. Oh. Okay. Phew. All right. I threw it out there. Let's see if it comes back to us.
So do you want to hear about the top 10 songs of the decade according to Billboard?
Yes, I do. I bet I know 2 of them.
I can tell you, I bet I know which 2 it's going to be.
Okay.
There's a few of these I know are popular, but I just never listened to them. So number 10 is Adele, Rolling in the Deep.
Oh, I know that one.
Yeah. It's a good song. I think that was her first American hit. Luis Fonsi with Despacito, which was the song of the summer 2 years ago. I know. It didn't hit my university. Number 8 is it's Gautier, Someone I Used to Know.
Oh,
God, that was,
Yes. Okay, I know that one. I actually really like that song. Yeah. I remember the first time I heard it, I swore it was Peter Gabriel. And they're like, it's not Peter Gabriel.
I thought to me, it was like a song that if you told me Phil Collins and Sting made a song, that would be it. Especially the high parts. Like that sounds to me, that's total Sting to me. That's like, Face Dances or whatever that album was. Anyway. Yeah. Number 7, Little Nas, Old Town Road.
Okay. I know that one.
Yep.
I should say Rihanna, I know of it. Go ahead.
Of it. Rihanna, We Found Love.
Okay, I know that Rihanna. One. I love her.
Maroon 5, Girls Like You.
I don't know that one.
If I played it, you would.
Okay.
The Chainsmokers, Closer. I don't know this one.
I don't know that one.
Ed Sheeran, Shape of You.
Okay, I know. Song. I couldn't get away from that song. It was in like every commercial.
Yep.
Yeah.
LMFAO, Party Rock Anthem.
Hey, I know that one because my niece was obsessed with it.
I like Sexy and I Know It Better, but okay.
Yeah.
And the number one song of the decade, Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars.
I know that one too.
It's
Oh
a
my
good
God.
song.
I knew like 5 of those songs. Good for me.
Yeah.
I love Uptown Funk. That shit is awesome. It's
Yeah.
that's still a good song. That's a good gym song too.
I remember when I first started playing it in my classes, people would like scream like they lost their goddamn minds because
Yeah.
it was just such a great beat
Yeah.
and it's so powerful and got a ton of energy. Yeah.
They play it at weddings, or like I went to my like work holiday party or whatever. They play that song, people lose their shit and they like run to the dance floor. It's really fun. I love that song. Good list. What else are you dorking out about?
So I was trying to look at my pop culture and it's kind of, there's nothing new in there because it's just the holidays. So
Yeah.
there's not like anything new to binge on or anything. So I just, the only thing I'm dorking out about is I got a gift for Christmas from my friend Deb. Shout out to Deb. She got me a weighted blanket.
Calvin has one of those.
Oh my God. It's like, it's the gift of sleep. I told you like earlier today, I took like an hour and a half nap.
Yeah.
And that's because I had that weighted blanket because it just keeps you still.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a terrible sleeper and I tend to toss and turn. And it's just changed my life. It is such an awesome blanket. And my cats love it.
Yeah.
They love to sleep on it and feel it and all that good stuff. So that's what I'm dorking out about this week, my weighted blanket.
I love Calvin's weighted blanket. I steal it all the time.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, and put it on the couch and like lay under it. I just love it. It's very relaxing. You feel really snug in it, but like in a good way, not like snug like I'm trapped. Not like that.
Right.
Like,
No.
Like it just, I really love it. Like we bought it for Calvin, and Calvin, he likes it. Like he used to love it when he first got it. Now he's kind of moved on or whatever, but I still love that weighted blanket. I think it's awesome. That's a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
So what I'm dorking out about is, have you seen, this is streaming right now on Amazon Prime, Brittany Runs a Marathon?
No, but I've heard about it. I hear it's really good.
I love this movie. Love it. It's so good. I've been thinking about, I watched it a couple weeks ago, and it's been on my list to talk about, and I keep not bringing it up. So I'm glad I'm finally bringing it up because I actually find the movie very inspiring. It stars Jillian Bell, and she plays a woman who's like kind of a party girl. She's a little chubby. She's not leading like a really healthy life, and she starts like having a lot of health problems, and so she decides to take up running. Actually, it starts with her first going to a gym, and then they're like, that'll be $150 a month, and she's like, but I could run outside for free. So she starts running, but she does it, it's like baby steps, right? So she's like, okay, I'm gonna run a block. I'm just gonna try to run a block, and then like she just keeps going and keeps going, and then it starts to change her, like not just her appearance, but like it helps her like work out her shit on the inside too. And she like takes a job like dog sitting, and there's a guy who works the night shift dog sitting, and they both basically move into the house because the people are gone. Like it's just really, really good. And this is another one that like it made me cry because it's dealing with some other shit. It's not just marathon stuff. There's other stuff. And I don't want to spoil it, but it did make me cry. But it also made me feel very inspired. I think it's a really good like watch before New Year's or right after New Year's movie if you're thinking about making changes in your life. Because I don't know, it talks about like kind of, it's not like an all or nothing thing. It's like you could do these little baby steps to get there, and like kind of surrounding yourself with the people to support you to help you get there.
Right.
And I really, really loved it. I would watch it again right now.
Oh, wow. I've heard about that. She said, yeah, she really ran a marathon. Like
Yeah.
she did. And she was promoting it on K-Rock. I think I listened online, and it sounds like a really inspirational story. And I like that she's a normal girl, like a normal person. Yeah. Versus like a Sandra Bullock who already looks like,
yeah,
she
like,
could weigh 100 pounds heavier and people would still think she's the most beautiful thing ever and
right,
sexy and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone in the movie is really good. And they seem like normal people that you could relate to. And when I say
Right,
that, I
that's what
don't
I
mean
mean.
like they're ugly. No, they're not.
Right,
Like,
no.
no, just like they're normal people. They're different people. Like the man that she's like sharing the house with that becomes like her friend is an Indian guy, and then like a guy she starts running with is a gay guy, and there's a woman that she's running with that has like used to have addiction problem. Like it's just everyone has their own shit is what I'm saying.
Right,
that they're
everyone's
dealing.
going through their own shit.
Yeah, and it's really really inspiring as someone who has some New Year's resolutions that I've made. I find it really good to watch. It's really supporting what I'm thinking about doing. Are you making any New Year's resolutions? Are you one of those people?
Yeah, I am. I
Yeah.
am. I'm considering them right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few that I'm going to put on a whiteboard.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Write it down.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Right.
share. You don't have to share them on the air, by the way. I'm just on the air, like we're live.
On the with millions of people in the audience.
I also have like some New Year's resolutions, and I mean mainly it's about like trying to increase my activity level because I was like I eat pretty well, and so Brittany runs a marathon kind of fell into like a sweet spot for me where I was like yeah, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, baby steps. I could do that. I'm not gonna run.
Totally.
I'm totally not gonna run a marathon, you guys. By the way, that's not happening. But yeah, so it's really good. Anything else you want to dork out about before we end our last show of the decade?
I think I'm good. I think I'm ready to. I'm feeling inspired now. I'm going to write down my list.
I think that's a really good
my New
idea.
Year's list.
That's a good idea. I did. Some people had asked, and I posted it on Twitter. So if you guys want it, some people had asked about my movies of the decade, like what my favorites were. I put it out on Twitter. I'll put it up. Maybe I'll put it out again just so people can see it. Yeah, so that's out there. Margo, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fitchick. That's for Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm mostly active on Twitter and Instagram. And warning, I post a lot of pictures of my cats on Instagram. So you're warned. And then my blog is brooklynfitchick.com. And you and I also co-host a show called What a Creep, which has been taking off. So you want a double dose of Sonia and Margo every week? Sign up for that podcast. We're having a lot of fun with it.
Oh my God, What a Creep is super fun. We have a Patreon page with a lot of bonus content. It's really fun. And you can find me at The Sonia Show on Twitter and thesoniashow.com. Not really on Facebook. You can find Dorking Out everywhere you listen to your podcasts and dorkingout.com and Dorking Out Show on Twitter. And yes, it has a Facebook page.
I got to convince her to check it out.
Yeah, Facebook and I have been on a little break, but I'll try to be a little bit more active in the podcasting stuff. How about that? I think that's a fair trade. That's a fair
Absolutely.
Trade. So I'm so glad that we got to talk about while you were sleeping, and I'm so glad that you are on this show with me, and I'm stoked to start the new decade doing this stuff with you.
Oh my God, yeah. We got another decade ahead of us of stuff. I'm so excited.
Oh my God, we have 10 years of movies that we could dork out about and 10 years of creeps we can talk about.
And what other shows we decide to come up with?
Yeah, and we're never going to run out. This is so awesome.
Nope.
So everybody have an amazing, safe, wonderful New Year. If you want to share your New Year's resolutions with us, I love it. I love hearing people's New Year's resolutions. I know some people hate hearing that shit, but I love it. So you could tweet it to me. You could also tell me about your dreams. I like to listen to people's dreams.
Do you? That's the one thing I don't like. When people start, oh my God, the weirdest dream, my brain just goes, la, 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 la. Just let them talk.
See, I'm the opposite, because then I start trying to figure out, like, your dream, your mind, your subconscious is trying to tell you something. Let's figure it out.
My friend Deb is really good at that. a dream analysis and
Mm-hmm.
handwriting analysis. She's really good at both. Yeah.
Oh,
The one who got me the weighted blanket. Yeah, she's amazing.
She sounds very smart because a weighted blanket
She
is a great gift. Oh my gosh, now we're just talking about all kinds of random stuff, but this was really this was really fun, and we will see you guys next week.